Hi, it's Dr. Greg Emerson here at Balambal Beach in northern New South Wales. I spent the afternoon at the Bangalow markets where I interviewed Loren about the history of the cannabis plant. We talk about where the new research shows it originates. We talk about the difference between hemp oil and CBD oil. We talk about the different cannabis plants that are available. It's very important though when you watch the video to read the disclaimer down below the video and understand that in Australia there are three forms of hemp product that you can get. There's medical cannabis, which is on prescription only from doctors and has very set criteria as to who is eligible for it. Then there's CBD oil, which you can get, which is just for topical use. And then there is hemp oil, which is the oil from the seed, which you can get in supermarkets and at health food shops and pharmacies. So if you're interested in the history of the cannabis plant, let's get into the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the end. I'm here with Loren from Artaban Hemp Products, and we've just been having a talk because I was telling Charlie, my friend who's the cameraman today, that when I went to India in the 1990s, the Lonely Planet guide said I had to go to this place in India which made the best lassies of all time. Yeah, I don't know what lassie it was, but we did go to this place in Rajasthan. It was the best lassies ever, and we stayed in Rajasthan for a few days just to drink the lassies. Then of course in the next edition of the Lonely Planet guide it comes out that there's a special ingredient in these lassies that came from the cannabis plant which made them so popular. So we're just learning about the benefits of cannabis in this country now, and there are some accepted medical indications for its use now, but it's also legal to use on the skin as a health supplement. And I really want to talk to Loren about some areas that we did to get distinction from, what the difference was between hemp seed products and cannabis products, what the difference between the two plants are between sativa and indica, and some of the benefits that I've seen from people using it on the skin. It was also interesting that over the weekend there was some research out showing that cannabis plant actually originated in the steppes of Tibet. So actually what we're getting is a ancient Tibetan plant full of medicine. So Loren, thanks for talking to us today. First thing maybe you could talk to us about is that there's some confusion. There's the difference between a CBD oil and a hemp oil that you can get in the health food shop. Can you run us through the difference?
Sure. Yeah, so you can get hemp seed oil quite easily at health food shops, and obviously it's an oil made from the hemp seeds, which doesn't. It has a lot of omega oils in it, but it doesn't have the cannabinoids. So hemp oil is made from either the leaves or the flowers of the plant, which then has the cannabinoids in it. It's quite different from hemp seed oil. Obviously hemp seed has a lot of benefits, but it's quite different from the hemp flower oil because the cannabinoids have a lot of healing properties, especially when they're all together.
Right. Now your oil is THC free, correct? And THC is the psychoactive component of the plant. Yeah,
THC is the psychoactive component. It's the part that people get high from. It's very low in THC. Any sort of whole plant extraction is going to, whole plant product is going to have some level of THC in it. But yeah, the strain that we use is very low in THC, but it's still in there. It's just one of 150 cannabinoids found in the plant.
Right, and this is perfectly legal to use as long as you're using it topically.
Yeah. At this point, it can't be sold as an internal product.
Okay, and so this ancient Tibetan originated medicinal plant, tell us a little bit about the difference between the two main strains, which are the indica and the sativa.
Yeah, okay, so the sativa plant is a taller, skinnier plant with skinnier leaves. It's got a lot more fibre in it, so it's great for industrial uses for fibre, for clothing, rope, paper, whatever, and it tends to be higher in CBD and lower in THC, which is basically when people are talking about hemp as opposed to marijuana. Like it is sort of the same plant, but hemp means low THC. It's a whereas marijuana means something that's basically that people smoke, which generally is high THC because that's what they're looking for.
I read the other day that George Washington, the first US president, was a major farmer of hemp.
Yeah, I think everyone was back then. It was it's one of the world's major crops.
Yeah. How are the leaves different to the flower?
Well, the leaves just have a lot less of the oil in them.
Right.
The flowers are concentrated with the oil and the crystals, the trichomes that they're full of the cannabinoids. So it's just really, the flowers are quite potent with the cannabinoids.
And I know that some people, including me, have been concerned about the use perhaps of this plant in younger people whose brains aren't fully myelinated. I know the male brain doesn't fully myelinate until age 24, and the last part of the male brain to myelinate, surprise, surprise, is the risk-taking part. But it's the THC component which is perhaps the problem with the unmyelinated brain. So my understanding is that the CBD itself is perfectly safe.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because THC can cause a lot of anxiety. I guess because it's psychoactive, so it really changes your perception of things, and which I'm not quite sure the science behind it, but it can actually cause a lot of anxiety.
Yep.
Whereas CBD is the counter to that, and it reduces anxiety. And so I think the plant in its natural state it would normally be higher in CBD and lower in THC, and wouldn't have that problem. And people say that the pot that people used to smoke back in the 60s didn't was like gentle, and people didn't have the psychotic kind of problems that people have with what's been developed now. The plant has been manipulated so much to create higher THC, and that obviously gets people more stoned, but then also creates more problems with anxiety.
Which is why you guys are sticking to the low THC varieties.
Yeah, well, I mean, for lots of reasons. Like I said, there are 150 cannabinoids in the plant, and they all play a role.
Right.
And
so you and I were talking about analogies before, and I was talking about the analogy that I use of people who come to see me and they say, well, I'm doing everything and I'm still not getting the results. But of course I say, you've got to make sure all the bases are covered, because you could have the world's best carrot cake recipe, but if you forget the eggs, you're not going to get a very good carrot cake. So it's the same thing here, which is why you're using the whole plant extract, because you're saying all of these things. Nature puts them together for a reason, and nature puts it together in the right balance, and we want to try and do as much as we can to stop messing with nature.
Exactly. The way I see it is each plant has its own wisdom that we an innate wisdom that it's not just some accident the way it's sort of put together. And so if we're going to really get the benefits of the wisdom of that plant, then you need to preserve it as it is in its that's where whole foods are better than processed foods. And it's the same with medicines. That's where I think Western medicine has sort of like become a bit narrow-minded in a way of like trying to isolate, that's the thing that works, so we'll take that out and leave everything behind, and not realizing that all those other things that have been taken out, actually they all play a role. Just because we don't necessarily see it doesn't mean that they don't play a role. And so to leave things in their natural state, and that's what we're seeing, and the research is showing that as well with cannabis as well, that the more that you can preserve the whole plant, the more healing benefits it has for us.
Don't mess with Mother Nature.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
She does. All right. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe to get the weekly videos I do. Thanks very much, Loren. We're here at the Bangalow Markets in northern New South Wales. From me to you, with much love and gratitude as usual. Thanks for watching.